This is the fourth lecture of the chapter Financial Statements of Companies. In this lecture, we will discuss what all details we should disclose under reserves and surplus in the notes to accounts. In the notes to accounts under reserves and surplus, first we have capital reserves. So what is capital reserve? A capital reserve is the type of reserve that is created from capital profits. That is profit earned through sale of capital assets such as sale of fixed assets, profit on sale of shares, etc. So if there is any capital reserve in the company, we should disclose the details in the notes to accounts under reserves and surplus. The next one is capital redemption reserve. So when a company redeems its preference shares or during buyback of equity shares, a company has to create a reserve called capital redemption reserve. I'll discuss more about capital redemption reserve while we reach the chapter redemption of preference shares or when we discuss buyback of equity shares in the advanced accounting. Now let's see the next one. Securities premium. Suppose the company is issuing 100 equity shares at 10 rupees each for a premium of 20%. That is face value of equity shares rupees 10 and premium is 20% of 10, that is 2, and issue prices 10 plus 2, 12, and the total money that the company is getting is face value 10 into number of equity shares is 100. So 10 into 100, 1000 plus the premium amount, that is 2 into 400 equity shares, 200. The total money that the company is getting, 1000 plus 200, 1200. So this is the total amount the company is getting by issuing 100 equity shares at 10 each for a premium of 20%. So here this 1000 rupees, that is the face value of 100 equity shares, this will be shown under share capital, and this premium amount, this 200, this will be shown under reserves and surplus in the notes to accounts under securities premium. So under securities premium, we will write 200. Okay, so this is the securities premium. Now let's see the next item. Debenture redemption reserve. According to section 71 subsection 4 of the Companies Act 2013, every company issuing debentures should create a debenture reserve account. So if the company has created any debenture redemption reserve, it should be shown under reserves and surplus in the notes to accounts. And I'll discuss more about this debenture redemption reserve while discussing redemption of debentures chapter. Now let's move on to the next one. Revaluation reserves. Revaluation reserve is the type of reserve which is created when there is any increase in the value of fixed assets when revaluing. Now let's see the next one. Share options outstanding account. So what is this share options? These are nothing but the right to purchase a certain number of shares from an issuing company. And what is this share options outstanding account? These are options or rights which has not been exercised or has not expired. And we will discuss more about this share options while we reach the chapter accounting for employee stock option plan in the advanced accounting. Now let's see the next one. Other reserves, that is any other reserves created by the company, and it is said that you should specify the nature and purpose of reserves which we are going to create, and the amount in respect of this reserves as well. So we should specify the nature of the reserve and purpose and the amount as well in the notes to accounts under reserves and surplus. Next one is surplus and profit and loss statement. So while disclosing surplus and profit and loss statement in the notes to accounts, we should also disclose the allocations and appropriations of this surplus. For example, surplus in the profit and loss account in the beginning, that is on 1st April 2020 is 50,000. Then profit earned during the year, that is profit earned during the year is, let's say, 40,000. So total 90,000, and company has decided to transfer some amount to general reserve. So transfer to general reserve, how much? Let's say 20,000. Then company has decided to transfer some amount to debenture redemption reserve, so around 10,000. So what will be the balance? 90,000 minus 20,000, 70,000 minus 10,000, 60,000. So this will be the surplus in profit and loss account as on 31st March 2021. So while giving details on surplus in the notes to accounts under reserves and surplus, we should provide a statement like this showing additions and deductions and appropriation to different reserves accounts as well. And one more thing related to this surplus, the debit balance of statement of profit and loss, that is if there is any loss, then it shall be shown as a negative figure under the head surplus. And similarly, if the total of reserves and surplus after adjusting this surplus is a negative figure, then we should show it in under the reserves and surplus only, even if the value or figure is negative. And one last point which you should understand in this topic is a reserve specifically represented by earmarked investments shall be termed as fund. That is, any reserve which has been invested in any securities or assets should be called as funds. For example, if debenture redemption reserves has been invested in any securities, then it should be called as debenture redemption fund. But still it will be shown under reserves and surplus in the name of debenture redemption fund. So these are the items which we have learned in this lecture, which should be shown in the notes to accounts under reserves and surplus: capital reserves, capital redemption reserve, securities premium, debenture redemption reserve, revaluation reserves, share options outstanding account, other reserves, surplus and profit and loss statement. We have finished our discussion on reserves and surplus. That is what all details that should be disclosed in the notes to accounts under reserves and surplus. Now the next item under shareholders funds is money received against share warrants. For this item, there is no need of preparing any note. We can write the amount straight in the face of the balance sheet itself. And the next item under equity and liabilities is share application money pending allotment. For this item also, there is no need of preparing any notes. We can write the amount straight in the face of the balance sheet. Now the third item under equity and liabilities is non-current liabilities. So under non-current liabilities, there are 4 items. This we will discuss in the next lecture.